The late 18th century was the start of the antebellum era.
The most influential movements within the era was the Temperance movement. This was a social movement against alcoholic beverages.
The movement was mostly ran by women with children. The women felt that alcohol caused social problems, poverty, and abuse.
They believed that if people stopped drinking alcohol, these problems would no longer exist. The women started by praying and using moral persuasion. But as time went on, they wanted more change to occur.
This is when they get involved with politics and try to change the law.
There was a temperance society that was started in Connecticut and spread to many other states.
Eventually, in 1828, there was an American Society for the Promotion of Temperance. This organization had 1.5 million people that were involved. As time went on, more and more people found out about and supported the movement.
In the 1860s, the movement came to a complete halt due to the Civil War. Everyone in the country was so focused on the Civil War that all movements were placed on hold.
After the Civil War, the temperance movement got back on its feet because of the Prohibition Party and the Women's Christian Temperance Union. These were two groups that strongly disliked the use of alcohol.
In 1881, the movement started to show success when Kansas outlawed alcohol use altogether. Other states started to follow Kansas by outlawing alcohol as well.
The temperance movement became a nationwide issue. The country became divided between the wet and the dry. The wets stood for and supported the use of alcohol, while the dries believed it caused issues and needed to be outlawed.
The wet supporters believed that the government was infringing upon their rights by controlling and restricting what they were permitted to drink.
The dry party believed that alcohol's aftermath broke apart families and created poverty.
To gain nationwide support, the dries utilized propaganda to glorify their own party and negatively affect their opponents.
By 1917, there were 278 members of Congress that supported the dries' point of view.
The 18th Amendment was created and passed to prohibit manufacturing and the sale of liquors.
On January 16, 1920, the 18th Amendment went into effect and liquor was prohibited nationwide.
There were many people that had a main role in getting the temperance movement the success it received. This included John Galt, Francis Willard, Carrie Nation, and most importantly, Lyman Beecher, the father of the well-known Beecher family.
Lyman Beecher co-founded the American Temperance Society, which was based off of the Dries Foundation.
Lyman Beecher was also a minister. He preached and spoke out. He believed alcohol was an issue and it should be controlled or even stopped.
Lyman's children hold an impact during the antebellum era as well.
Catherine Esther Beecher, the daughter of Lyman Beecher, founded a school for girls so they can learn about Christ.
William Henry Beecher was an advocate for abolition. He also became an amateur author.
Henry Ward Beecher actively used Plymouth Church to fight slavery. He was sent to Britain by Abraham Lincoln to convince Britain to remain neutral in the coming Civil War. Henry's church even armed anti-slavery supporters.
Isabel Holmes Beecher was involved in the women's suffrage movement. She wrote a bill to Congress to give women property rights.
And the most famous Beecher of all, Harriet Beecher Stowe. Harriet was an author and a slave abolitionist.
Her most famous writing was the anti-slavery novel, Uncle Tom's Cabin. Her writing was an eye-opener to many during the time.
She was able to tell slavery's horrors from a closer slave perspective. Harriet's writings made a difference during the 1800s and even today.